Managing Expectations, Part 3, using Ancestry.com and wills. And now we're on to the category of the ugly. That information that you find that is just upsetting and disappointing. I am going to be showing you a copy of a will of Samuel Blackburn. As you can see, I've already filled out some of the information on Ancestry. This is Ancestry.com. You cannot see the banner because, again, the banner contains personal information, but we are on Ancestry. And I wanted to specifically find the will. The will is the written legal document that specifies the distribution of your assets after you die. So I want to find the will for Samuel Blackburn. He is a member of a family that one of my clients had asked me to look into. He died on the 2nd day of March, 1834, Bath County, Virginia. These are pieces of information that I know about him. And I know that his wife, Anna Matthews, that was her name, and she was actually the daughter of the governor of Georgia. So I'm going to search for Samuel. Click on the search button in the wills and probates and wait until, there we go. All right, so there we go. On our right-hand side, we see the different results. So right here, we have U.S. wills and probate. And if I look over to the side, I can see that this is actually the wills book. Okay, that's what I want. I want to actually see the will. If you look farther down here, U.S. land, marriage, and probate, this is the information about the marriage to Anna Matthews, which took place in 1785. Scroll down some more. This is actually the executor's bond, administrator's bonds. When someone writes a will, they assign somebody to be in charge of making the distributions. So these are very interesting documents because you can find out the different people that came to collect the different pieces of furniture and whatever it is that they owned and whatever it is that they had left to specific people. And then there are things that is just sold, and you can get a list of who bought what. So it can be very interesting. But today, specifically, we want to look at his will. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. After it loads, you can see a copy off to the side on your left-hand side of the actual document. As I said, it is written. So let's see here. If we scroll a little bit, there we go. Make it larger. Okay, so Samuel Blackburn, the County of Bath, and Commonwealth of Virginia in anticipation. Basically, the date he wrote it, the 1st day of June in the year of our Lord, 1830. So that's when he wrote the will. It's not when he died, but this is when he actually wrote it out and he signs it. He also, at some point, says who's that executor is going to be, and then he makes the will and writes down specifically what is to happen to all of his assets. So this is a very long will. It's easily 4 or 5 pages long. And at the top, it's all written out, as you can see in longhand. We can see that he talks about his religion, his religious faith, and things along those lines. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat that it can be very difficult to sit and read these wills. Sometimes, it depends on how well someone has actually written it out. And some of the letters are formed differently back in the 1800s than they are now. So if it is possible, I always try to see if I can find a transcribed version, which I have actually been able to do with this will. So I'm going to show you the transcribed version, and there we go. All right. So this is the transcribed version of his will. And here we go. My will and desire is that all my just debts be paid by my executors, hereinafter named with convenient dispatch after my decease. And he says, as to the property which it has pleased God to give me, I make of it the following disposition. And we have the part which can only be called disappointing, upsetting. Second, that all the slaves of which I may die, seized, and possessed, without distinction of age or sex, be, and they are hereby declared free and forever. Okay, so you might be thinking, oh good, I'm glad he is setting his slaves free. Emancipated from all claim to future services to me, my heirs and executors, or any of them, and together with their increase to the latest posterity, shall be and remain clear and forever discharged from all such claims as aforesaid, and as soon as the necessary arrangements can be made by my executors, they shall be transported to the American colony in Liberia, and the expense of transportation be charged upon my real estate and personnel. It is, however, expressly and explicitly understood that if any of my slaves aforesaid refuse to accept this boon, it will be the duty of my executors, and they are hereby requested so to do, to sell to the highest bidder in terms of the sale all those who thus refuse and pause and persevere in the refusal as slaves for life. Okay, so on one hand, he is quote unquote setting his slaves free, and on the other hand, they are not free to be able to choose their own future. He wants to send them back to a colony in Liberia. So I don't think I have to explain to you why the ancestors of this man were so disappointed. He was a wealthy man. He had a very large home that actually still exists in Virginia. Again, he was married to a woman who was the daughter of the governor of Georgia, and the people that wanted me to look for this information were very upset to find out this part of this man's life. So that's why I said you have to be aware that you might find things that are just upsetting, things that obviously you can't change, but it's still very upsetting to see it written down that someone that you are descended from, maybe not specifically because this man did not have any children, but still, he obviously says he's going to set his slaves free, but not really. He's sending them off to Liberia. They are not free to make their own choice and their own decision. And if you do not accept what it is he offers, then you are a slave for life. So the positive things about this will is the names of all the people that he lists in them. There's a lot of names. There are sons of his brothers. There's grandchildren of some of his brothers and his sister. And there you go, what he leaves to his wife, Anne. So this will contains a lot of great information, but it also contains something that is just very upsetting and hard to read. So those are my examples of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So please be aware that when you are looking for information regarding your ancestors, you will probably find documents, information, pictures, whatever, things that will fall under all three of those categories. Until next time, this is Madonna Genealogy, signing off.